Yeah, let's forget what happened last week. It's a new week and it's time to move on to play our next game. Let's talk about it. Good morning, RSL Nation. It's your favorite sports maniac and RSL fan, Gabino, and we are back with another Matchday preview. RSL are on the road to St. Paul, Minnesota to take on Minnesota United, and we are in for a thriller. International week break is over. We got our players back, they got their players back. I think we're going to be in for a thrilling battle. Let's get into this. We will first start off with the last meeting. We played them in the playoffs, but I'm not going to give the playoffs. We're just going to go off with their last regular season meeting between RSL and Minnesota. That was back in October at American First Field, where nothing really happened, really. The only one key thing that happened was Brian Veda getting a straight red card after a VAR review for spitting at Michael Boxall, who still plays with Minnesota United today. Congratulations on New Zealand for making the World Cup. We just need Brian Veda. He's a good player, but he needs to be smart to not get a red card for that again. He got suspended for a couple of games, and yeah, that's all it took. The game did finish 0-0. That was the only thing that really happened. So let's get to the chase and start talking about this game coming up. We're going to start with two players that we need to watch for Minnesota United. We're going to start off with Tani Oluwaseyi, who just returned from an international break with Canada. He got a goal with Canada during Nations League, and he is a killer striker for Minnesota. He's got a couple of goals last season. He looks like a very promising player on and off the field. He's just going to be looking very dangerous for RSL's defense. And knowing that when RSL does go to Minnesota to play Minnesota United in St. Paul, RSL has a tendency of struggling playing at Minnesota. So this is going to be he's going to be one of the players to be keeping an eye out for that game. And our next player is going to be Kelvin Yeboah. He scored against RSL in the playoffs last season, and then he's got a couple goals last season as well. I think he's got one this season so far. He looks to be very, very dangerous for any the team in MLS, especially for the defenders. He's going to be a very tough player to keep an eye on, and that's for RSL's defense. That's going to be the main target. So it's going to be an interesting matchup with Oluwaseyi and Yeboah in the attack. Let's talk about the players that Minnesota United need to be prepared for. Diego Luna is back from international duty, which is awesome. He had himself quite a performance with the U.S. men's during the Nations League, but he's going to be looking dangerous. He's had a bit of a bumpy start this year, 2025, but that's how the process goes. You start off bumpy, and then you end up on a good note. And I think that's what Luna is going to deliver for the entire 2025 season. He's got a goal this season, so we're going to have a lot to expect. Second player that Minnesota needs to keep an eye out for is Mr. Assist Man from Poland, Dominik Marczuk, who just returned from international duty as well with Poland. He's got a couple of assists this year. He's very dangerous on passing the ball, for creating opportunities, scaring any MLS team's defense at this point. He's gonna be a tough battle for the Minnesota United defenders, especially Michael Boxall. He's gonna be in for a test tonight as we continue to go forward. Those are my players that you need to keep an eye on for both Minnesota and Real Salt Lake. Just on the side of me are the Western Conference standings as of what happened last week. Minnesota had themselves quite the result. They're up in 6th in the Western Conference table. They're sitting pretty comfortably up there. as they continue to perform well. RSL went from 9th to 11th place after last week's loss to FC Dallas. Could this be a wake-up call for RSL to hopefully get themselves back up onto the top standings of the Western Conference? It all depends on how this weekend's going to go, really. We are in for a real test and for a real stress game. Here comes my score prediction. I'm going to be a little biased. And I said it in the beginning of the video. RSL, when they go to Minnesota to play Minnesota United, they don't have a good record up there. I'm gonna be straight up honest. They don't have a good record. Let's think. 2017, which was Minnesota's inaugural year, lost. 2018, lost. 2019, lost. We played them twice in 2020. We lost 4-0 first time, and then the second time 0-0. 2021, RSL were lucky to win 2-1 that game because that was their first game of the season, and they were on a inaugural game win record at the time. 2022 lost. 2023 tied. 1-1 thanks to a goal by Jefferson Savarino. And then last year, 2024, tied. The first time, which is regular season play, when Chicho Arango scored a header. And then we played them in the playoffs in the second game of the best of 3 round series. The game did finish in a tie, but it couldn't end in a tie because it's a playoff game. So their game had to go to penalties, and RSL completely blew it. And Minnesota United ended up winning in penalties and advanced to the next round. Beside my prediction, I'm just telling you what has happened poorly in the past for RSL when they go to Minnesota. St. Paul or wherever, really. It could go down to a loss because of how inconsistent they've been going. I'm going to be, as much as I hate to say it, I'm going to be expecting a 3-1 loss tonight. The only goal will come from Diego Luna, but it's not going to be good enough. I'm going to probably say Luasei gets 1, Kelvin Yeboah gets 1, and then Michael Boxall heads in the third goal for Minnesota United. As much as I hate to say that RSL's going to lose, that's what I think is going to happen because they just can't win in Minnesota, and I don't understand. Yeah, I really don't. This video may have not been long, but we are at the end of the video. My prediction is a 3-1 loss. Minnesota United will win in St. Paul. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. The behind the scenes will be on my TikTok. I'll leave a link down in the description so you guys follow my TikTok for all the behind the scenes that are going on. Subscribe to this channel if you are new. We'll see you guys in next time's match day preview. And as always, RSL on top. Yes. Thanks for watching.